Steve.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to part 2 of my pickups video. This is going to be nearly all Amiga. I've got a few C64 games that I just couldn't turn down, but other than that, yeah, it's all going to be Amiga. There's about 40 odd games here maybe. It's quite a few, so let's go through them. The first bundle was actually, this was before the arcade club meet, the YouTubers meet. That's how long ago it was. I mean, when was that? Beginning of February, so I reckon this was like mid-January. And this was actually on Gumtree, and I found Gumtree to be pretty good with Amiga recently. Like, I've never really used Gumtree before, but there's a lot of stuff going on there recently. And it was up in Bangor, or Bangor, and I'm thinking straight away, I'm just thinking it's Wales, and I'm thinking, well, who can I go and get to pick it up for me? I'm thinking, I mean, it's miles away from me. I'm all the way down in Kent. I think if I can get somebody to pick it up for me, bring it to maybe the YouTubers meet, and so I was having a word around, but I weren't really getting anywhere anyway. And it wasn't until I rung the guy, and he was like, where do you think I'm from, in like the most broadest of Irish accent, and yeah, he was from Northern Ireland, and I was so grateful. He agreed to post it for me, and I got this bundle. What did I pay? It was 150 quid in the end, and here's a quick video of the unboxing of it. Shape actually. Apparently it's got a new motherboard in it. Battery's been removed. It's a 500 plus, as you can see. Right, apologies for how bad that videoing actually was, but you get an idea. I mean, the guy packed it brilliantly. Everything survived. And these are literally just the games that I sort of wanted to keep out of it, that I didn't have. People know me well. I love my compilations. I don't know why. I used to have so many of them in the day. And this is the Dizzy collection, which, as I say, all these are in still really good condition, considering, I mean, Amiga games don't usually fare well with their cardboard boxes. This game, I know it's not big box, but I probably will get it big box. I know Alex, Blutonic78, he bought this quite a while back and said, I can't remember whether he liked it or not, I just remember him showing it about. Got Myth, and I do, admittedly, I always want the big boxes, but I'm a sucker for a budget box. Budget boxes and compilations, I'll always pick them up. They're usually so cheap anyway. And this was one of the reasons I really wanted it as well, was a really nice rough and tumble. I've already got this, although I've sold it in a bundle. It's a big mic, but this was just a bit of an upgrade. Really happy with this. And I was also happy to get a 500 plus back in my collection as well. I've had them down the years. It was my first own Amiga. I remember getting it for Christmas in the early 90s, the Cartoons Classics pack. So yeah, really happy to get that back in the collection, albeit not boxed, but it's working. I mean, sorry, in the video you would have seen when I tried it the first time, he did say there was a bit of an issue with the floppy drive. I opened it all up, cleaned it all, literally within 10 minutes I had it working. I reseated some chips as well because for some reason it wasn't booting, but something must have been a bit loose in there, but it's worked fine ever since. So yeah, massive thanks for that bundle. That really happy with that one. So to go from that bundle to another bundle, which I believe I paid $250 for. I believe the last bundle was $150, which I think was an absolute bargain. This bundle here is $250, and again, I've done a quick video of the unboxing. The packaging was dreadful. You'll see in the video the filming weren't much better actually. Sorry about it looks a bit blurred because I've got this plastic protection on the back of my phone that obviously come loose. So the video is not great, but just check how bad this packaging is. So, even though the packaging was so bad, the Amiga got absolutely ruined. As you can see, the case was knackered. It did all work though, surprisingly. Drive wasn't very good. I cleaned it out and it was working, but I ended up selling that Amiga in a bundle, and I think I got about, I sold two pretty rough Amigas. Like, I was quite honest with them. I can't be bothered to mess around with them. I believe I got something like just about 100 quid for both of them, so say 50 quid back for the Amiga. But these are the games I really wanted, and to be honest, I'm really impressed with the condition. I mean, the guy did say they were in pretty good condition. God knows how they stayed in this condition because of that awful packaging. But again, another upgrade was Supercars 2. Fantastic game this. I believe I ended up getting, I think it was about 44 quid when I sold my copy on, which weren't in bad condition, but that one just edged it. Another Gremlin graphics game in Toyota Celica GT, which again is pretty solid condition, all works. Don't know too much about the game, but I'm actually trying to collect for a lot of the big publishers like Gremlin Graphics, Team 17, Bitmap Brothers, companies like that. Going on to Speedball 2. Another, obviously, this doesn't need any introduction. Fantastic game. My one was really rough. This one's a really nice condition. And again, my rough one I think went for about 20 quid, so I got about 20 quid back on that. Another one that seems to have gone up in price, Wings, which I've never actually got into. Like I've really got to. I mean, it always seemed a bit like when you start it's like a flight sim, and I've never been into flight sims, but apparently it does get a bit more arcadey. I should really invest some time into that. Again, my copy, it weren't that bad. That's just a bit of an upgrade, and I think I ended up getting about 40 quid for my copy, I believe. I can't remember, but I pretty much broke even. On it, which isn't too bad considering the upgrades I made. This was the only game I didn't have in this bundle. It was Double Dragon 2, which didn't particularly like it in the arcade, but I love that. I love that box art, and it's a really nice copy. And then this is probably the best one of the bunch, really. Is Monkey Island, the first one. My one was pretty rough. It was in a good shape, but the spine was faded. I believe it had a rip down the front and the back. But this, yeah, it's all in nice condition and all complete. I've actually got the budget discs in there as well. I've ended up with so many original floppies with bundles down the years. I've always kept the better games for just backups, really. So yeah, not overly impressed with that bundle. I mean, I've done alright with it, as I say. I think I broke about even and upgraded what, 4 really sort of like fairly expensive titles. So yeah, I've done alright with that, really. Going on to these was from Craig's here again. At Arcade Club, he sent me some pictures of some of the Amiga games he was bringing, and I scoped a few of them out. And he's such a top guy, Craig. I think he does it for a lot of people he knows quite well, or obviously a few of his, like, I consider him to be a mate of mine now. He's a really good fella. But he was literally just take the games, and he said just sort of test their work, and then just pay me what you think's fair for them. And I was like, fair enough, I won't argue with that. So the first game is Bomber Bob, which I didn't know absolutely anything about this game, which is always quite a good sign to sort of say it's fairly uncommon. Because I've been collecting Amiga for a long time, and yeah, if I haven't heard of the game, I would usually say it's fairly uncommon, unless something's just completely missed me, passed me by. But it's actually not too bad game, like a nice little shooter. And then we've got 2 off the list from Psygnosis. First one is Bow, which again, all 3 of these are in really nice nick. Again, I've heard of this game, but I don't know too much about it. I think it might be one of those games that it all looks pretty, but not the best. Maybe, I don't know. I might get slammed for that. I'm not sure. But I will give it a go at some point. Well, I know it works, but I didn't really play it. And this one I actually do quite enjoy. Globjewel. The nice neon pink box, which again, all nice condition. What did I give for those? I remember giving 25 for Bomber Bob, because I hadn't heard of it before. There was some joker on eBay wanting something like 120 quid for it, I think. And I thought 25 was fair, and it turned out to be fairly on the ball, because I know that Retro Games is selling one on his website for 25 quid without the postage, so I thought, yeah, no, I'm happy with that. and I believe Glob Jewel was about a tenner, maybe just under £8, something like that. Bow I might give about 15, I can't remember, something like that, but they were pretty fair prices, I think. Moving on to some eBay. Again, as I was saying earlier about collecting sort of for publishers, there's some after all, anything by like Gremlin, Ocean, Psygnosis, Hewson, Bitmap Brothers and Team 17, and this was one off the Gremlin list, Motor Massacre, which again I didn't know too much about. It's quite funny because it actually says C64 128 disc, but it's one of those ones with an Amiga sticker right over the top. I mean, I'm guessing that's legit. I know that happened quite a bit, especially with CD32 as well. What did I give for that? I think that was about £14. And then Street Fighter, which I believe did have a big box. This was obviously the release for the dual case. Also came with Bionic Commando in there. Again, all works. I've got it in a compilation. I believe I've got it on Kick's release as well, but I wouldn't mind getting a big box as well. Again, Capcom's another one. I love the arcade games on the Amiga, even though the conversions aren't they're very rarely good, but I don't know. I just like having them. Going on to a game that you would have seen if you watched part 1, Gauntlet 3, which I remember having this in my collection ages ago, and I can't remember what happened to it. I must have sold it. This one I believe was a Facebook purchase for about £20. Definitely gone up in price since I last bought it, put it that way. But love the music on this. I don't particularly like the game, but the music is brilliant on that one. Absolutely love that one. Now these two, little bit of a bargain again. eBay again. Just going to be an upgrade for one of them, which is, in fact, I'll just show this one quickly. F1, which I've got absolutely no knowledge about. It's not the Formula 1 Grand Prix. I believe it looks a little bit like. In fact, I have no idea what version this is. If somebody, I might put this on. I know the Formula 1 Grand Prix was made by Microprose, but this on the back looks like a completely different game. And it's made, it's Domark. Is it the same one as that? F1? I think it is. I had no idea that that was published by Microprose. I've never seen that. Again, not an expensive game, but it was just with this other one, which is what I wanted it for. And it is Lotus Trilogy, which I do actually have up here. But I mean, I've actually got this in a protective. But you can see it's been squashed at some point, whereas this one's all nice. But ended up costing, I think it was about 20, I'm sure it's £20 all in for Lotus Trilogy and that F1 game, which will probably just go in a box upstairs because it's, sorry, a box in the loft, because I don't usually sell good condition Amiga games, and they're both in really nice condition, so yeah, I will keep that. Right, going on to a couple of games I'd heard of but didn't know much about. This one's called Thunder Jaws, side-scrolling shooter, which it's not great. I remember the arcade game actually, and I didn't particularly like that either, but again, I do like, I love the box art, and I always like on the back of these Domark games, Tenjin games, it'll show like the arcade cabinet on there as well, which I quite like that, but yeah, not very good. And then this one I believe I picked up in a bundle. Yeah, I did pick up in a bundle. So that Thunder Jaws was about £8, and this Stormlord came in a bit of a bundle, which it was a really cheap bundle. I'm sure the bundle was about £8 as well, and it's not in the best of condition. I'll give it sort of a 7, but again, Hewson game, quite obscure. Again, I didn't really see much of it, but again, I mean, the graphics are really good. Game wasn't too bad. I've heard the level design's not great. Apparently there's places you can get to and actually get stuck, and you can't actually exit or die without restarting the game, which not great level design in that. Moving on to one of Alex's favourite games on the SNES, Top Gear 2. I know the SNES copy is better, but the Amiga game is pretty good. It's well playable. God knows what happened with the sound. I don't understand why you couldn't have the music and the car sound at the same time. But no, it's a good game. I mean, it's quite similar to Lotus, but without, I don't know, without the, it's missing something. I don't know what it's missing, but it's more than playable. Quite like it. And another Gremlin game, so it's got to be in the collection. Now, where should I go on to next? I suppose I'll show these. This was just a bit of an impulse buy from Level Up Gaming down at Canterbury. Alex down there done me a good deal on this. As I said before, I like my compilations, and I know Last Ninja 2 quite rated on the C64. Didn't know much about the Amiga version. I mean, it's all in there in all pretty nice condition. And it was only a £5. Only cost me a £5. I was down there. I thought, well, I'll pick that up, add that to the collection again. It'll probably just end up with a box in the loft, but I'm literally just running out of room for Amiga games. I've still got to thin this lot out. I'll thin it down and put some in the loft. I mean, they're all safe in the loft anyway, and I can just grab a box down and play them when I want. They just won't be on show. These were actually quite a new pickup. Actually, these only came sort of last week. I know that Mike said he had a box for me, and you know what I'm like, Mike. If I see a bargain, I'll pick it up anyway. But I already had the discs for this box, but this box complete ended up costing me £6. From the same seller, I bought this James Pond. For some reason, I have no idea why, but I haven't got. I didn't have any of the James Pond big boxes for the Amiga. I've got James Pond 2, I believe, for the CD32, I think. I'm sure that's up there. But other than that, the only James Ponds I've got are just budget releases. And I saw this really nice copy and ended up pulling the trigger. Both of these two ended up being, I think it was about 20 quid all in. I'm sure this was about 15, or it was something like about 11, but with postage. And I think this was about 3 with postage, so it ended up being about 20 with postage. Sorry, including postage. So yeah, that's those ones. Now these, I know that Mr. Bads, Paul, I can't remember what game he was showing, but he was showing his love for these Domark Tengen games in these absolutely dreadful plastic cases. Now I know that Big Mike's got one like this. I don't know if it shows on camera, but it's gone a bit yellow. This is the worst of the bunch actually. I've got 4 of these to show. I don't know how many there are altogether. I think there might be around maybe 6, 7 or 8, something like that. I know I've got, in fact I know there's more than 6, because I believe I've got 6 of them. And I know there's another one, I can't remember what it is, but just see how bad these go. I mean, you think Dreamcast cases were bad. I mean, these cases, literally, you open them up and it screws up all the artwork. But something very charming about them. So that's hard driving. Again, all separate. I bought these. I'm sure that was about a £5. This one wasn't cheap, but I'm happy with it. It's all in nice condition. Tubing. This actually come from Italy. So it cost me about a tenner in postage, but I think the game itself was about 11 quid, so I think about 21 quid all in, all working. Good little game actually. I quite like the conversion of this, but look, awful cases. I won't open any more like that, but tubing, really happy to add that. This one, again, like, this is how lazy I've been lately. Look, stickers on them, I haven't cleaned them up or anything, but Dragon Spirit, which I really quite like this on the PC Engine. I've never played the arcade, but the PC Engine game is pretty good. The Amiga version isn't. £8, £10 all in, something like that. I believe that was from Retro Pixels, I believe. And then another nice one. Great game this, APB. which I believe this was about 15 quid all in, which I didn't think was bad, because again, it was an eBay all these were eBay purchases. I think this was the only one in auction, and I think I was prepared to go up for like 30 quid for it, and ended up getting it for about 15, 18 quid, something like that. This is how long it's been. I can't remember after these prices, but I know I'm definitely in the ballpark, 100%. Now going on to get through these quite quickly, actually, quicker than I thought. This little bundle here, which I tell you what, I leave those two till last, but I have no idea about any of these games I've got in it. The bundle ended up costing me, it cost me £80, I believe, which I'm not sure if it's a good deal or not. I remember speaking to Big Mike, but I'll show you the games I've no idea about first. But the boxes are massive. This one's a little bit squashed, but Rules of Engagement, no idea. It looks a strategic starship, so what, like an elite clone maybe? I don't know, but they weigh a ton. Rules of Engagement 2, again a little bit squashed on the back. Again, absolutely no idea. I've never been into flight sims. I do like Elite, funnily enough, but I don't know, no idea. I might look on that. Every now and again I'll look on Lemon Amiga to see what they've rated it. And then this one, Mega Traveller 1. And this one's actually in quite nice condition. Absolutely huge box, just filled up with all sorts of crap. I haven't even tried these yet, actually. I haven't tried any of those. But these are the real reasons I wanted the bundle. It was 60 quid for the Amiga games. 60 quid for the Amiga games. Again, another Gumtree purchase. And these are what I wanted them for. So we had Sperris Legacy, which again is not too bad. It's a little bit bowed, but it's not too bad at all. In fact, if I iron that, it probably wouldn't be too bad. There's very little creasing, probably a little bit up here, but it's not too bad. I believe, I thought that this was the only one I needed for a full Team 17 full Team 17 set, but I actually need Alien Breed 3D, Alien Breed 2 3D. Again, I know I've had this, and I'm sure I've had Alien Breed 3D, but down the years, I can't find them now. I must have sold them in bundles accidentally. Maybe they weren't in good condition, because I do that quite often. But this is the real reason I bought that as well. That was one of the reasons. I thought I'm sure that's about 15-20 quid game, and I thought, well, Moonstone, original Moonstone discs. Now, if people don't know, it's a pretty expensive game now on the Amiga. I think you're looking for about 200 plus for a nice copy. And I thought, I mean, I already own it, and I thought it'd be nice to have some spare floppies if mine ever go wrong. Completely untested though, I took the risk. I cleaned them first. I didn't even try them before cleanup. I cleaned them, and yeah, working fine. So yeah, happy with that. So yeah, 60 quid for those. Again, don't know. I think that's fair. I mean, Amiga floppies, original floppies, they don't usually go for, well, I don't know. If you've got the box, I suppose it's what people would want to pay for them. But I was quite happy with that. And when I was down there, he was selling quite a few like computer stuff. He was clearing out his loft. Yeah, quite a few Spectrum stuff, which I'm not really interested in. But he had these C64 sealed games, which I don't know anything about them. So you've got a game called Hampstead. I think they're all like not text adventures, but adventure games, which is not usually my sort of thing. So all sealed. Sherlock, again, have absolutely no idea if these are any good. And this, I've actually heard of this. I'm sure I had this on like small cassette. Simzala Bim, worst name for a game ever. But yeah, all sealed. But yeah, no idea why I wanted those. I just saw them, and we worked. It was 20 quid all in. So I'll take that all day long. And getting back to floppy disks again. if I've got quite a sought after game and I see the floppies, I'll always sort of try and get a deal with them, and I ended up finding these on eBay. Somebody was selling them in a bundle, and I said, oh, would you sort of sell them separately? And he come back, he was like, yeah, what are you offering? I said, oh, I'll give you a tenner for them, and that's Denaris. Again, I mean, nothing wrong with my copy, I've got it up here somewhere, there it is. Nothing wrong with mine, works fine. But funny enough, I've got a copied version in there as well. But yeah, exactly the same. So we'll put them in there, and always good to have a spare, especially with magnetic media. Put that back in there. So right, we're down to the last two games. Was I over exaggerating when I said 40? I don't know, it just seems to have gone really quick. Last two games. This one here, this was a Facebook purchase. He had a massive bundle of all sorts of games. I believe he had like Atari ST in there, PC, a few Amiga titles, and he was a bit sort of non-responsive at first. I just wanted to know what Amiga games was in there, because he just couldn't really tell, and didn't get back to me, but he then started listing stuff off separately. And this was one of them I had my eye on, and it's Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which I know isn't a great version. It's hard drive installable for the 1200. The intro is really good on this, and absolutely love that artwork. It's such a late release in the Amiga library, so yeah, happy to add that just for the artwork alone. And I'm sure I got a really good deal. I mean, obviously money's not everything, but if you think you're getting a good deal on it, I think that always helps as well. And I'm sure I've seen that go for good money, sort of 60s, 70s maybe. And I could be completely wrong, but I'm sure I have. And I ended up giving 43 postage, so that's not too bad. So yes, I've got one more game left, and it's actually the most expensive game I've ever bought for the Amiga. Well, let me rephrase that. It's the most I've ever paid for an Amiga game. And it came from Canada. I've been after this game ever since Beeps. Brian mentioned this game quite a while back to me. I had heard of it, but I'd never actually played it. And then when I played it on my 1200, my WHD load setup, yeah, absolutely loved it. I thought the music was great. Yeah, I sort of fell in love with it, and as regular viewers will know, if I fall in love with a game, I want the original. And yeah, I put it in my eBay search, none was coming up, and literally I had it in my search for about 6 months, and there was only 2 that came up, and one of them looked a bit rough in America, and they wanted, I think it was something like $160, something like that, $180. But then there was this nicer one in Canada, and again, not cheap. It's worked out, I had some customs on it as well, and I think it's worked out about £160 or £165 all in. Again, I know it's not cheap, and to be honest, it's probably not even worth that. I mean, with any value, I suppose it's worth what anyone's willing to pay, and I hadn't seen it, and I'll tell you what done it. Earlier in my last pickups video, part 1 of the video, you saw that I'd Gauntlet 3 on the C64. Well, I ended up selling that. I've ended up selling that since I made that first clip, when I had them both running together. And I ended up selling the C64 Gauntlet 3, and I ended up getting pretty strong money for it from a collector in Germany. And that's what's made me sort of justify this purchase. I've sold a game that I didn't really want, didn't cost me hardly anything, and I've made good money on it, and I've got a game that I really wanted out of it, and it is Hybris, and it's sort of a predecessor to Battle Squadron, and it's in lovely condition. Really happy with it. And if you haven't heard of this one, guys, go and check it out. It's a really cool shoot 'em up. In fact, this is the last game I've got to show you. I've got one more thing to show you, and what I'll do, I'll set up the tripod in front of the monitor, and show you my last purchase, and I'll show you a bit of gameplay of this. So here's the last Amiga pickup I've got, and it's this nice monitor, Amiga M1438S Micro VTech monitor, Micro VTech, however you pronounce it. There is an issue with the one of the speakers on it, but these are supposed to be the best Amiga monitors you can get because they're tri-sync. I haven't really found out how to use it properly yet. I believe you need drivers on your Amiga to get the best out of it, but as I say, it needs a little bit of work. I mean, I might get it recapped and maybe get that. So one of the speakers there's an issue with, although you very rarely use the onboard speakers. Ideally, you'd want to mount some external speakers to your system, because let's be honest, like, a lot of monitor speakers aren't very good anyway. But anyway, let's get Hybris on the go. I'll be gutted if this doesn't work. I say the sound won't do it justice because I know one of the speakers is a bit dodge. Great music though. Right, here you go. So you select Commander. I don't even know what the difference is, but let's just go with Maverick. Let's just see how far I can get. It's a shame about that speaker. It does actually sound better than that, but we'll get that sorted out at some point. So basically that's like your primary weapon, and if you either press spacebar, in fact I'll show you that in a second, there's a bit where you get these little force field walls. So like you see these, I can't shoot that guy, but if I spin that, my weapon changes, I can shoot over it. Upgrades my weapon even more. That's how I can't shoot those, but you spin that round, upgrade your weapon, and shoot everything. And if you, to use your smart bomb, you keep your finger on the fire button and like circle the joystick. So a little bit like that. I'm so used to playing the arcade shooters now, I just wish that the Amiga had more than one button to play with sometimes. There you go, Hybris. Take care YouTube, see you soon.